Welcome to SluderMusic. I'm Kevin Sluder. I've been a string orchestra director in Texas since 2007. I've also composed and arranged many pieces for young orchestras. This podcast primarily serves as an introduction to my pieces. However, I'll also be giving some background info about the performance requirements and occasionally the story behind the piece. Today I'll be sharing one of my most popular pieces. Water on Mars was published by Tempo Press back in 2017. It is a grade 2.5 piece in G major in 4/4 time. If you decide you like it, please consider purchasing it directly from luxmusic.com or from tempopress.com, if possible, as it will benefit the publishing company much more than through a third-party site. Without further ado, let's take a listen to Water on Mars, and I'll be back to share some more info afterwards. I'm always a big fan of trying to balance the various types of difficulty in a piece, so that you don't end up with a teaching situation where the challenges compound in too many different ways. Water on Mars presents many independent rhythmic elements, and it requires fast fingers at various times. However, the key is accessible, and very little shifting is required, and even then most of that is in the fun little glissando near the end. As with many publisher example recordings, I prefer a more connected eighth note articulation on the main descending theme, but interpret it as you will. A side note, if you decide to do this piece, in some of the early printings the cello part was incorrect, around measures 45 to 52. The score has it correct, so if the cello part doesn't match, please defer to the score. If I remember correctly, it can easily be solved by scratching out measures 49 and 50 and creating a quick first and second ending with the remaining measures. If you're looking for someone to blame for this inconvenience, look no further than the person in charge of proofreading, me. As for the writing of this piece, it existed for a year or two before it was published, and around that time news broke that scientists had discovered water on the red planet. So I was inspired to write something space-like. To put it mildly, Water on Mars is a complete knockout hit with the kids. I allowed a director close to me to give their group a not-yet-published version, and the kids absolutely loved it. Students would play the main descending theme every day, even years later. They would even teach their younger siblings how to play it, and it would keep randomly reappearing during tuning and warm-up time. If you enjoyed Water on Mars, please consider checking out its prequel, The Late Heavy Bombardment, a raucous adventure through one of the most tumultuous times in the history of our solar system. This is also available through Tempo Press. I'll be covering it on a subsequent episode. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.